Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwan, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about Imperial citizens as we get into the Shrine Worlder, individuals who live on a Shrine world. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K content every 12 hours, thanks to our patrons. And of course, if you have any suggestions, just comment down below. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the Shrine Worlder. Shrine Worlders grow up on the worlds that the Imperium has deemed holy places, where the cult of the Emperor's power is omnipresent. While their birthplace might range from cluttered, decaying cities to scattered farmlands, or their planet from a green paradise to a forbidden rock, the power of the Emperor saturates it. Perhaps some great deed was committed here, a bold hero turning back an alien tide, or because it is a resting place for a saint with a hallowed grave dominating the surface of the world, and drawing pilgrims from far and wide to gaze upon its glory. While all citizens of the Imperium are taught to venerate the glory of the Emperor in one form or another, it is the Shrine Worlder who perhaps has the greatest understanding of the reverence of the teachings of the Imperial cult. Religious grace permeates every part of the Shrine World, the very spirit of the cult of the Imperial Creed, embodied by the world itself and its citizens, who embrace his divine worship. Shrine Worlders live their days with the strength of the Emperor in their hearts, and are exposed to his word in many aspects of their lives. The constant exposure to clerics, priests, and pilgrims impacts upon their lives, and gives them greater veneration for the Imperial Creed. Pilgrims also offer a rare glimpse into worlds and sectors beyond a Shrine Worlder's home planet, and a taste of the wider Imperium told from the lips of those who have traveled far distances just to visit the shrines. There is no established norm for a shrine world, only that it was a place where a saint was entombed or committed some great deed worthy of the Adeptus Ministerum's attention. It might have been a pharaoh or hive world with a well-established society before the coming of the saint. Equally, many were only outposts or dead worlds before a saint fought in a final battle or came there to find their final rest. In both cases, the presence of the saints and the millions of pilgrims who make the trek have changed the world forever, giving it a new purpose and focus. While the planet exists for the glory of the saint and as a place to worship the mighty Emperor, the constant flow of pilgrims and visitors makes such places a breeding ground for criminals and smugglers. Either selling false relics or using the pilgrim trail to transport illicit goods, a shrine world's underbelly can be as active and dangerous as any underhive. Many shrine worlders are drawn into the shadowed society, either aiding such illegal endeavors or seeing it as a chance to move off-world and make their own fortune. Even so, while some succeed and go on to find a life on the fringes of the Imperium among vile company, they remain shrine worlders at heart. They never forget the teachings of the saint, whether they live by them or not. A shrine worlder has a unique perspective of the Imperium, raising amongst the harsh realities of the Imperial faith, but also exposed to a constant stream of travelers from strange and far-off places. Some develop a slavish devotion to the Imperial Creed, and those that claim to speak in the Emperor's voice. Alternatively, the Shrine Worlder might find inspiration and rise up within the ranks of the faithful to do great things. Just as the inhabitants of a Forge World is ideally shaped to enter into the ranks of the Adeptus Mechanicus, so too are those raised in these holy cities and domains, where they are well suited to be placed within the Adeptus Ministerum. Service within the Emperor's fighting force is also fitting for one born on a shrine world, there being no greater mark of devotion to the Emperor than to sacrificing one's life to protect others. Some of the greatest regiments were founded on shrine worlds, known for their fervor and fearlessness. Even those that find their way into the priesthood seek out battle to prove their devotion, acting as regimental priests or shipboard confessors. Many shrine worlders follow in the footsteps of their patron saint. The population is also molded by faith in the saint to which it is dedicated, and even those who do not join the Ministerum or choose religious vocations often carry the saint's teachings within them. This can also include the saint's venerated characteristics or legendary nature, and a shrine worlder could reflect their unique saint in a particular recklessness in battle, an aiding hatred for a specific xenos, or a disdain for technology. And those were 40 facts on the Shrine Worlder. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to share it with your friends. The best part about this lore is the detail of a Shrine Worlder being influenced by the teachings of the Imperial Creed for the rest of his life. There is something very special and very, different about an individual who is raised on a Shrine World, because every single day the Imperial Creed, or the belief of the Emperor, is attached to that individual more so than any other place, like a hive world or an agri world, anything like that. And I saw that firsthand here in the real world when I did my travels. Here in the United States, because I grew up in the United States, people like to pretend that religion is important to them, that God is important to them. But at the end of the day, the belief in God and your religion doesn't affect your day-to-day life to the degree that it would in other places around the world where religion is part of daily life. What I mean by that is, like here, you'll see a bunch of people who say that they're Christian. They have the Jesus pieces, and they have their tattoos with the quotes from the Bible and whatnot. But at the end of the day, when you ask them about the actual belief system of Christianity or something like that, they get upset. They get upset not because that you're intruding into them, but because at the end of the day, they don't really know. Sometimes it seems like those people are just being religious just to say that they're being religious. It's like religious for religious purposes, but at the end of the day, if you ask them about the theology, they don't know, because the theology and the actual teachings of whatever religion they believe takes a back seat to just kind of like the showboaty, like, yeah, I believe in God type of mentality. And that is because here in America, we have the privilege of not having to depend on the church. We don't depend on any type of religion to put food on the table. At the end of the day, in the beginning, the government and religion, so economy and religion, were fairly separate. And now, I think, because Americans have that privilege of not worrying about the church, not worrying about anything else, it's we don't really understand what it is to be a shrine worlder in a shrine world where you doing well at your job really depends on the pilgrims that come to your world. And that's something really interesting about the lore that I love, and something that I saw in the real world, because it influences every single individual in that country. There were people who would walk past a cathedral and they would stop, they would look at the cathedral, even if there was nothing going on at the cathedral, it was just there, it was empty. But they would do the sign of the cross, and they would venerate, God or whatever, and then move on. You would see nuns in the street. You would see just the religious aspect of even keeping a hat over your head type stuff. That's something that we don't really see here, and it's something really interesting that 40K managed to include into their whole Imperium, which is really awesome. And then on top of that, recently for the Greater Wa episodes, one of you guys asked the question of, since Lorgar actually is the one who penned the Lectitio Divinatis, which is what the Imperial Creed is based off of, what does the Imperium say about who actually wrote the book of Lorgar? Basically, it's the what the Imperial Creed is based off of, and the answer to that was that they just say that it was inspired by the Emperor. They don't actually say who penned it, even though it was Lorgar. So it's funny that there is entire shrine worlds dedicated to the traitor, without them actually knowing that it was a traitor. At some point somebody had to have known. But yes, it's the belief in the Emperor, which was never supposed to happen. So I wonder what that's doing in the warp, because we always talk about the manifestation of the God Emperor in the warp because of the belief of his divinity. But that divinity is based off of evil intent. So Lorgar, of course, is a traitor, and his intent, he is influenced by chaos for the intent of worshiping the Emperor, which is going to be negative. So I wonder if that creation of the God Emperor inside the warp is actually something that the Chaos Gods wanted, which is why they made Lorgar create the Imperial Creed, or create the Lectitio Divinatis, and it's actually not the god of light that's being created in the warp, but it's just a completely different god that's going to be separate than the god who's sitting on the golden throne on Terra. And it's actually a manifestation of the evil side of either the Emperor or humanity. So, yeah, pretty interesting. That's why I love lore when it comes to the Imperial Creed and Shrine Worlds. I hope you guys enjoyed too. If you guys have any questions about what I just said, just comment down below. I'll try to create a video if you guys have a good enough question, and then we could expand, or we can dive deeper into the pool of craziness that is the Imperial Creed, if you guys want to. If you have any other suggestions, just comment down below. And again, thank you to all our patrons for allowing us to post every 12 hours. If you guys want to support us a little bit more, jump on over to Patreon. It's a simple $1 a month. It helps us create more videos for you guys. And if you can't, I mean, just by liking, commenting, sharing your comments down in the comment section below, it really helps out the channel. So thank you guys, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. This is Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.